Welcome to NASCAR Cup Series Victory Lane Review. Let's take a look back and see how the race was won in Martinsville.
Watch Chase Elliott, that blue and yellow Napa Chevy on the inside behind Austin Cindric. Then the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Then Ryan Blaney fuming inside that helmet in the 12 up on the high line.
Just let's not lose touch of the tire difference. Remember the 5, the 24, older tires, the 2 as well. Mixed bag of tires in the front of the field.
You talk about Chase Elliott, how that fell perfectly for him. How about Denny Hamlin in that 11 car? He's sitting there. Same as the same tires as Chase Elliott.
Exactly, and we saw how much of a difference, Steve, before it made when Byron was chasing Elliott down.
And Christopher Bell has had the restart he needed in the back. It may seem silly back in 19th, but he's in the free pass position. He needs that yellow. There's Bell, the 47, a few cars behind him is the other car 1 lap down. So everybody is doing what they need now. Will the cautions come out or will we run to the finish?
That's all going to determine Christopher Bell's fate, the guy who came into this race the highest placed on points.
So with Larson leading, it's a points battle between Byron and Bell. Bell cannot gain any unless you get a yellow. He's the first car 1 lap down. But this guy, the 24 of William Byron, can easily lose 5 on those older tires. Can Byron hold on to the finish?
Cindric in the middle of all of this, who's no longer a playoff driver. But can he do anything to try and help the 12? His teammate Ryan Blaney, who's a few positions back. Meanwhile, Larson has opened up almost a full second lead.
Chase Elliott, front bumper to the back bumper of Cindric, moved him up off the bottom of the racetrack.
There you go.
He had to do that because the 11 of Hamlin was behind him. He could not get himself in a situation where he didn't make that pass and 11 got by.
Now the blueprint of Hendrick Motorsports will be tested. It is built on winning. It is built on winners. You aren't supposed to wreck a teammate, but Mr. Hendrick likes winners. They cheer on winners. What is Elliott willing to do to pass his 2 teammates to advance in the playoffs?
Look at Blaney buried in the pack there. Meanwhile, here comes Chase Elliott. It is a Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Larson, Byron, Elliott. Just how they finished. As far as 3 teammates in the top 3 back in the spring race. It was William Byron who went to victory lane on that occasion.
Fresher tires are just obvious. The 9 of Chase Elliott has more grip.
But he needs to make this pass quickly because the longer the run goes, the less advantage those newer tires are. So he's got to get by the 24 right now so he can go right down the 5 of Larson.
Go for the inside in turn 1, and he does. William Byron doesn't contest that. He knows that Elliott's on much better tires.
Give the credit to Chase Elliott in his drive, but let's not forget Alan Gustafson in his call to pit early. Put the fresh tires on the 9. Tell Chase Elliott the plan. There's Alan right there. Chase drove up. They did get a fortunate yellow, but it was decisions leading into that yellow that has put the 9 in position.
I asked him yesterday, I said, how you hanging in there, mate, after 20 years as a crew chief? He said, it gives me perspective. And he sure had a pretty cool and educated perspective to make that call for his driver of the Napa 9.
Never before in the history of the sport have the pressure been this high. Look at the playoff leaderboard. It's 1 or 2 points. And remember, there's an opportunity. Christopher Bell -4. If he can get back in the lead lap, he can go pick up spots. He is not out of this.
Here he is. Here he is. He's working on Ross Chastain. He's there with Joey Logano. This is back in the high teens. Bell is running, but again, he's 1 lap down. A caution's got to come out, so he gets the free pass. He gets that advantage, and then it's game on. Then we start talking points again.
But I think the tire advantage is so obvious for Chase. They want to just try to convince him he has time. Last time in 1 and 2, he really cooked 1 and 2 and missed the lane. This time, a much calmer 9 car, right around the curb. He's going to inch his way into the 5. We still have 75 laps to go. Those 20-lap fresher tires will definitely pay off. When we talk about the 8 drivers we had coming in here, Lee, the 6 ahead, not making it would be a disappointment for all 6.
Yes.
This is the heavyweight of heavyweight drivers. They all hoped and expected, and their goal was to make that championship race with a chance.
The 12 of Blaney in 4th, over 3.5 seconds back. He has the fastest race car on old tires. Don't count him out. He has a lot of work he's got to do. But if he can get by this 24 car, he could work himself up there.
And you know, William Byron has to be a little careful because with only 4 points to give, how much do you want to slide around in front of Blaney?
It gets a little more uncomfortable, doesn't it? The way that things run with 43 to go, we would have 2 drivers going to Phoenix trying to win their first title, 2 drivers going to win additional titles. Let's take you inside the world of the 24 as he gets passed by Ryan Blaney. Have a listen.
Ultimately, it'll be okay to lose one to Blaney. I don't see anything else coming. It's fine. It'll be okay to lose one to him as long as we don't lose a bunch more.
That's exactly what Steve and Jeff were just saying.
That's great leadership by Rudy Fugle saying, he's not the one we want to park in front of. He has to go win this race.
We've talked about the situation for Christopher Bell. Need to be the first car 1 lap down. Well, here, Kyle Larson is trying to put the 23 of Bubba Wallace a lap down. That will make him the first car 1 lap down. Take Christopher Bell out of position to get that spot.
Is this the move? It sure looks like it. Larson laps Wallace.
And if Christopher Bell leaves here not in the championship 4, they are going to look back on this round and just, what could we have done?
Yeah.
Think of how good they were. Think of the frustration when he got to the line in Vegas, just barely edged out by Logano.
See him get by the 54 car. He once again is having issues with a transaxle. He has broken 3 to 4 of those things in the last 5 or 6 races. They have had all sorts of issues.
Finally, Larson clears Bubba Wallace to officially put him a lap down. And Jeff, to your point, and Steve, about Christopher Bell, if he doesn't make it, what his fans and Joe Gibbs Racing Team fan base will be thinking, same goes for Kyle Larson. His fans will be saying, how can our guy win 6 races coming into this one here and not be good enough to go through, not be good enough to fight for a championship? He's got twice as many wins as the next best driver in season 2024.
I tell you, Jeff, I think you've called the sleeper in this that I might have missed. Ryan Blaney is taking chunks off the lead in a hurry. 3/10 a lap. Now he's caught traffic, and that's going to make it a much taller task.
This 12 car, he is flying. He is not far behind the 9 car.
2.5 seconds only 2 or 3 laps ago. It's now 1.7 seconds.
Yeah, there's the 5, there's the 9, and there's the 12.
Game on.
And it looks good. So let's remember, 5 on older tires, 9 and the 12 on the same tires. But Jeff, you pointed out Blaney, one of the best cars on the long run today.
Kaz Grala is the car between Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. 31 laps to go to decide who's going to get to Phoenix.
The only thing I'll add is, much like traffic has changed the look at the front, it's also changed the look for William Byron. I agree with Rudy Fugle that said, hey, nobody else was coming. But as they get in traffic, the points he can't afford to lose have kind of pulled up to his rear bumper.
And I think the reality of the situation is becoming very clear for Chase Elliott, Larson, and Blaney. Chase Elliott cannot be patient with this 23 car. He's better than the 5 right now. The 12 is better than him. He's got to get by this 23.
And the 12 is coming in chunks.
Parker, what you got on Elliott?
Well, Jeff, that's exactly what the team is telling Chase Elliott. Take a listen.
Yeah, keep working. It's go time here. That 12's coming.
It's go time for the 9 here. I know he's NASCAR's most popular driver. If you're a fan of Chase Elliott, this is the time he has to go if he wants to go fight for a championship in Phoenix.
Maybe just gave those tires a little bit of a spell, a little bit of a breather, and then now he intensifies the charge on his teammate.
Bottom left, William Byron trying to hold off Austin Cindric. Bottom right, Christopher Bell stuck in 19th, nowhere to go. Top of the screen, the battle for the win. This is the whole playoff picture right here in front of you.
These cutoff races are crazy. It is amazing, and this is for a chance to go next week and win a championship. You've dreamed your whole life of winning a championship or winning multiple.
And you want the best guys at the front when it all counts, and you've got 3 champions at the front fighting it out for the win here in Martinsville.
They're going to have their work cut out for them.
Look at this. Look at this. Bottom left, Jeff, Cindric and Byron. And Byron can't do anything about the Team Penske driver.
He can in the playoff. If these two get tied, if Byron gets tied with Bell, Bell's second at Las Vegas would be the tiebreaker. So the heartbreak would be enough to move him forward.
The heartbreak could be the saver.
I don't think it'll make him feel any better, but he'll appreciate it.
Look at the top box. All three of these guys close. Larson, Elliott, and Blaney with 25 laps to go.
You lose one more, not two.
That's Rudy Fugle telling William Byron, you can lose one more, but not two.
So that means he can get passed by Hamlin, but not Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon, though, is only a second back.
Look at this. Elliott hits his teammate, gives him a little nudge, tries to loosen Kyle Larson up, and enough to get up alongside him into turn one. New race leader, Chase Elliott's there.
Watch the board. Look how much it changes the leader. Who can make the playoffs and who can't.
And Blaney is there. Blaney knows that Larson's vulnerable. He gives him a shove, gives him another shove. This is for a championship to get to Phoenix and fight for a title. And the Team Penske Ford is through. And Larson says, you want to drive me like that? I can do the same.
That's what Chase Elliott wants to see. He wants these guys battling it out.
The gloves are off here in Martinsville. But I don't think Kyle Larson can do anything about it on those older tires.
And behind this, I think Byron's in trouble. I think there's several guys coming from behind him that can catch him and knock him down some of the points.
Well, it's Bell's teammate, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. I know Denny's not thinking that right now, but if you're Coach Gibbs, you're cheering that 11 on. You need him to pass the 24. The 11 has had enough of the 77. Runs Hocevar up the track. Hocevar battles back. And the 3 now is right there. So these 2 spots will eliminate the 24 if both the 11 and the 3 can get by.
Look at Hamlin. He just running the 77 up. Here comes the 3.
Remember the radio from Rudy Fugle, the crew chief of William Byron. You can lose one more. You cannot lose 2 more spots. Otherwise, it's game over.
He needs these 2 to battle side by side to slow him down.
Back up front, the 9 has stretched his legs a little bit over the 12. Obviously, Chase Elliott's car coming in here at the end.
There's William Byron, and he knows those 2 behind him cannot get by him. Look at the rubber flying out of the race car.
Chunks of rubber flying down the front stretch here at Martinsville.
And I'm nervous and I'm up here. Imagine being in these race cars with everything that's on the line.
The 24 is just slipping and sliding on those older tires. 25 laps older than both Hamlin's fresh right sides or Austin Dillon's brand new 4 tires. On the top, the 9 has gotten into some clean traffic, but so has it the 12, and the 12 is inched back in. I believe we're going to see a battle for the lead in these final 18 laps.
Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, they're buddies off the racetrack, but there's no friends right now. You bring your friends to the racetrack with you, and you leave with them. With a championship on the line, you cannot be friendly here.
2 guys who swapped their helmets when they got their first respective Cup wins. Both trying to become 2-time Cup champions. Who's going to get? Who's going to get the passage and the pass to Phoenix?
Currently 2 Hendrick cars in. The 12 past the 9 and a couple past William Byron. Hendrick could leave here with no cars in the championship 4.
They're both winners here at Martinsville Speedway. 15 laps to go to determine what this championship 4 looks like next weekend.
Blaney with big corner entry speed. Big high arc.
Look at this. The disappointment a week ago in Homestead Miami Speedway when Tyler Reddick went right around the outside. Now he gets on the inside of Chase Elliott. And again, another new race leader. Elliott's trying to fight the best he can. Truex and Suarez are up ahead, but the Team Penske Ford is in front. And Hamlin gets by William Byron.
So with that, the 9 car out below the cut line. The only other car now, Byron, 1 point in front of Bell. Can Byron hold off Austin Dillon? Byron's playoff hopes are the last 13 laps holding off the 3 car.
He's already lost 1 position to Hamlin. He cannot let that 3 from RCR get by. Up front, Ryan Blaney. He has driven his way through the traffic, past the opponents, to be 5 laps from home, 5 laps from going to Phoenix and a chance at defending his title, going back-to-back. That hasn't happened all that often in the 75-year history of NASCAR. Laps to go now for the Discount Tire Ford of Ryan Blaney. Comfortable 2.5 seconds in front.
Byron doing all he can to hold these 2 cars behind. Keselowski wants to get up there and make something happen.
Christopher Bell to the back of the 10 car.
Rolling all good.
Too wide in front of him.
There's a little push and shove going on there for that final, getting to this final lap. There's half a mile to go for Ryan Blaney. The reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion is going to have an opportunity to defend. Last week at these 2 corners, 3 and 4, he lost the lead and lost the chance. He lost sleep over it. Ryan Blaney's not losing anything here in Martinsville. He wins, and it's going to Phoenix. That was a determined, savvy drive. And look at that, right at the end, Christopher Bell drives his way in as well. Right at the very end, look at Adam Stevens.
I think the 20 past the 23 coming to the line for the 1 point that he needed.
This is it. Watch this, the 23 and the 20. He went for it, almost lost control, hits the wall, drives off the wall, sort of Ross Chastain-esque.
There's going to be a lot of conversation in the NASCAR Tower about the entire finish of this race. And all the cars racing for points, but what a drive by Blaney.
My goodness.
That was static.
It changed.
Way to hang in there.
It changed on the last corner of the last lap of this race to determine the 4th and final position.
What a drive by Blaney. Just unbelievable long run pace. Understood how to manage 500 laps here at Martinsville. These are step-up moments, Div. When you can come here having to win the race to move yourself into it and then making it happen.
We understand that race control is checking the end of the race on points and on tie-break situation. Christopher Bell gets it. But this is lucky number 13, victory number 13 in his Cup career for Ryan Blaney to give himself a chance to win back-to-back championships with a thoroughly determined drive through the field, driven by the disappointment of last weekend. Spare a thought for William Byron if it does stay the way we think it is, who did everything he possibly could.
You can't predict how these races are going to finish. Every time we come here, it's something different. Jeff, I'm going to give you credit. You pointed out Blaney. We were so focused on the 9 and the 5, but Blaney just, I mean, from 3 seconds back.
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned it too, the questioning. They're looking at the finish of this. The Ross Chastain move from years ago, they made that, you can't do that anymore to gain position. I don't think that what we saw Christopher Bell do is the same thing. I mean, he drove into turn 3, overdrove the car, got by. Watch this right here. So 23 up the racetrack, right? So he overdrives the corner for sure. On the outside of the 10, sideways, right, hits the wall, and then sure enough, stays in the gas. And the last part of that looks like Chastain. The start of it doesn't.
That's right. This is going to be the call that the officials are going to have to make. Either way, we know who won the race.
That is passion that has been spilling over for a week, Marty. What he couldn't get done last week in Florida, he gets done here in Virginia. Ryan Blaney's going to Phoenix for a chance at another title. Race control is still checking that final lap and that final move.
Steve, you talked about a lot of questions about the end of this race. Two Chevys side by side behind William Byron. They lined up behind him, looked like they were kind of playing blocker. NASCAR is going to look at that, I'm sure.
You see the 23 right there to the right, the 1 and the 3. Can't seem to find the 20 away past the 24, and then the 23, who was pretty far up the road, is giving up spots left and right, comes all the way back and gets the 20 past him. There's a lot to digest over there in the tower. I mentioned the 23 and the 20, so the 23 off the pace down into turn 3. The 20 goes by him.
Almost lost it.
And then almost lost it. And then on top of that, I agree, Jeff, with your analysis that into the wall looked normal like racing, but the exit of the corner did look very similar to what Chastain did here a couple years ago. This is where it comes down to the officiating. NASCAR is going to have to make the decision and tell us what all this looks like.
We've got a decision. We've got a decision. Christopher Bell will not be going to Phoenix. Safety violation. Riding the wall. It's against the rules. William Byron has been confirmed as the 4th and final position.
For every rule created, it has to be officiating. Someone has to make the decision. I can feel the heartbreak for Christopher Bell, but I agree with Jeff's analysis of his option. Just to be clear, that moved him from 18th to 22nd. It moves him the last car 1 lap down. That's what the penalty did, which was what removed enough points and moved the 24 through.
There's the championship for 2 drivers on the right. Tyler Reddick, William Byron have an opportunity to become first-time Cup champions. Ryan Blaney, who won today, can go back-to-back and defend, and his teammate at Team Penske, Joey Logano, can become a 3-time Cup Series champion. Congratulations to Ryan and his team. NASCAR and Motorsports coverage is available at NBCSports.com. What a day here in Martinsville. We'll see you next weekend for the title.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.